Serving up takes on Mizzou, the pros, and everything in between. Want to join in? Call or text the show at 573-875-KTGR. The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome in to Monday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey, Brenden Schaefer here. Producer Billy's in as well. Where to begin? Honestly, that leaves me speechless. The weekend leaves me pretty speechless. We'll have plenty of speech coming in the next couple hours. Don't get me wrong. But
I guess
it's like, where do we begin? That's kind of where we're at. Yeah.
I want nothing to do with this show today, but here I am.
Yeah, there it is.
This is the downside to doing a radio show 5 days a week about your favorite team. Sometimes you do a show like this one where like Saturday couldn't have gone any freaking worse than it went, and we have to talk about it for 2 hours. So
it is something we'll do for the next couple of hours. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. Mizzou not only loses the game at Vandy, but also loses its starting quarterback for we don't know how long. And Matt Zollers enter in for now as the QB1. So how do you feel about all that? Mizzou fans, a couple days removed from it, a couple days to cool down from it. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. We'll also have Bill Connelly of ESPN to weigh in on all the shenanigans from the college football weekend. SEC was kind of wild on Saturday. So we'll ask him about that. And Chiefs play tonight. Who you got? Chiefs Commanders, Monday Night Football. Tell us what you think, 573-875-KTGR. You can also tweet us at KTGR Big Show. We're also live on YouTube at KTGR Sports. If you don't subscribe to our channel, now's a great time to do that. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
The game was essentially Mizzou coming 1 inch short. They completed a Hail Mary pass, but Kevin Coleman was just outside the end zone, and the Tigers fall 17-10 to Vanderbilt. During the game, quarterback Beau Pribula suffered an apparent ankle injury. Matt Zollers of CBS Sports reporting yesterday that while it might be long-term, it will not require surgery, and there is an outside shot, he describes it, at Pribula returning at some point before the regular season ends. True freshman Matt Zollers filled in the rest of the game. Well, Mizzou unable to come up with the win as they come up 6-2 now, 2-2 in the SEC, number 19 in the AP poll this week. Bye week coming up, and they'll take on Texas A&M for their next game next Saturday, November 8th at 2:30. That is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 27th day of October, 2025. You can call or text us here at 573-875-KTGR. It was already pretty hard to stomach for most Mizzou fans, no matter where they were consuming this game. I can't imagine, Brenden, what it was like to stomach for someone who was in the stands, and that was you.
it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was the least fun I've ever had watching a game, ever. And I thought we were row 8, but like we were a little bit farther to the side to where there weren't actually all the rows that you'd have if you were on the 50-yard line. So I was like 5 rows behind the Mizzou bench.
Yeah.
I was 20 feet away from Beau Pribula in a cast. That's not what I wanted for this trip. Brutal, dude. And like, despite that, which hung over obviously the latter portions of this game, just the knowledge that injury was serious and that Beau might have played his last snap as a Missouri Tiger. Like, that is very much a realistic possibility with this injury.
It's possible, yeah.
And just knowing the nature of, and I've seen a lot of Mizzou fans excited about Matt Zollers, and like, I'll get there before November the 8th. I'll get there because he did look really good. He was impressive in the environment that he was asked to come into completely cold as a true freshman. And like, I'll get around to being as excited as some other fans, but I was devastated for Beau Pribula, who puts, he was a heart and soul guy for this football team. And was he antsy in the pocket? Yeah. Was he a perfect quarterback? No. But I I could not get over the injury aspect of it. And so trying to do that to watch the rest of the game, and you watch the Matt Zollers touchdown drive where they're able to tie the game and they get the ball back. They could go ahead if they could orchestrate one more drive. And just, Andy, every time it seemed as though the tide was about to turn in favor of Mizzou. Despite it all, the next devastating gut punch would come, whether it's the fumble on the missed exchange between Zollers and the running back, whether it's a penalty that was called that you didn't feel like should have been, whether it was a penalty that wasn't called that you felt like ought to have been. The hold on the 80-yard rushing touchdown, which just took the life out of the thing. The fact that Mizzou, was able to come back after that and be where they were in this game was just amazing, because that was shortly after the injury to Pribula. And it was just, that was the moment you lay down and die, right? And the Tigers still didn't. They didn't. They were in this football game until literally the final inch, where you have the Hail Mary that is caught. And I knew the moment it happened, I said, he caught that football, but they're not going to say he was in the end zone.
Yeah,
it was short. And he was, but that's just, I don't want to hear about it when people tell me, oh, stop talking about the Mizzou fan curse. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Let me be cursed for a day or two or a weekend, because I did. I felt a little bit cursed this weekend.
I feel that you can still know about the type of team that they are, that they do fight in a game like that. The most disappointing thing about it was that Mizzou played the best game any team so far has played and probably will ever play this season against Diego Pavia.
He was a non-factor.
He was nothing.
He was
nothing
a total
in that
non-factor.
game. 15 passing yards in the second half. That's it. 20 rushing yards for the game. I will hear zero complaints today about anything that happened defensively in this game. None.
That's fair.
None
That's
at
fair.
all.
I can think of probably two plays, but it's just, the defense was unbelievable.
It was awesome.
In a great way. I'm only going to be complimentary of the defense.
We thought Mizzou needed 30 points to win this game, and it turned out they only needed 20. And so they almost got there too. And so it's crushing in that sense, because you got everything working on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
The offense couldn't quite get unstuck even when Pribula was out there.
Right.
There were some very odd. Let's talk about second and goal from the 3.
Let's start there.
On forward. Well, first of all, I don't mind running on second down there. They did run on second down with Ahmad Hardy. That's a good decision. But I would have liked for them to, when they put 3 tight ends in the game and they put them all on the left side, maybe run towards that side. Maybe don't run the other way. They design the play to go to the strong side of the field.
Just brain dead.
When you bring in 3 tight ends, you're in 13 personnel. What are you doing? Then
they're going to think we're going to run it this way, so we're going to run it to where there's no protection.
Just I don't get it. And then the third down, I tweeted at the time.
I saw this from you. Yeah.
I would not hate a quarterback run here. They called timeout right before it, 3rd and goal from the 2.
Which I hated having to use a timeout. Couldn't get a play in. But it's as tough. Long as you score, Andy, it's fine, because you're basically saying we're calling our timeouts because we're not going to need them at the end to chase this football game, right? Yeah. You're like, we're going to score here. That's what you have to do in that moment.
And if you don't score there, that's fine, even with a run play, because you're probably pushing it towards the 1. Or even if you don't, even if you get stuffed, or maybe you get tackled for a 3-yard loss, you're like, okay, momentum's gone. You could still go for it. Or you could think, momentum's gone. Let's just take the lead and do that. But what they did to put them in a spot where they're going to go for it again, but you got nothing out of the 3rd down play because you called the roll out to the short side of the field, and the defense is compressed.
Yeah.
Because you're throwing to the flat, and all those defenders are able to jump on Brett Norfleet right away and jump on Pribula right away.
Yeah.
And then you're set back for 4th and goal. So that should have been better in that spot. And then I even have, qualms about how the clock was managed towards the end of the game. Before Pavia scored the touchdown and before, Mizzou actually got the ball back, I thought the timeouts could have been used before the 2-minute warning to preserve yourself some more time. Even if it's a few seconds, guess what? Those few seconds could have come in handy when you threw the Hail Mary an inch short. So look, I I get
Oh,
it.
and by the
offense
way,
did not have a great day, but
on that drive, got to about 30 seconds or so, whatever it was, spike the damn football.
Spike it. Yeah.
Drinkwitz gets put in a body bag at the end of games too damn often. I'm over it, man. Yeah. It's just little things that added up, and you're 100% right about time management. But like this idea that with a true freshman quarterback, there's a signal to say, hey, buddy, spike the ball. We don't have time for the number of downs anyway. Let's save as much time as we can, and we've got 3 plays at it rather than scramble and try to call a play.
Yeah.
It's asinine. I'm mad about that moment all over again.
Right.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I just could not I could not get over that either. And I don't put that grounding on Matt Zollers at all.
No.
When he needed to do
it. He was actually, for the moment, having never done it, he was super aware. I even saw, because again, I was right there, 5 rows away. And we were going to the side of the field that I was nearby on the end zone.
Yeah.
I'm seeing urgency of him noticing 6 on the play clock and trying to get it going. In that 1-minute drill, for him to have the awareness that he did, when we oftentimes in college football see quarterbacks absolutely bungle those situations, it actually amazed me how put together that kid was in like knowing to check for the play clock. Okay, guys, we're just going to have to snap it and figure it out. He was really good in those moments, to the point where he needed 1 more yard on a football and he would have orchestrated one of the most unbelievable drives in the history of the program. He was really good. The one, like, you look at the exchange, I don't know if that was supposed to be a ball that he kept and then would have passed it.
So that was another freshman moment. Like, he thought that he could take it out at the last moment from Roberts' hands. And look, it's on both of them. I get it. Roberts, I think, technically got credited with the fumble, but it's the quarterback's decision still, and he made decisions just a little too late.
You expect 1 or 2 of those given the moment of what happened. And I was like, I was crushed by the play, but it happened.
Great defensive play. Like, I honestly chalked it up to that. I've never seen that before. Like, that guy just blew it up.
I saw the sideline. I saw the Vandy sideline erupting, and it's like, oh, this isn't a 2-yard gain for Mizzou. That ball's in the other guy's hand already. Yeah. I saw it the moment that it happened. But again, those moments, you're going to have a couple of those when you've got a guy, true freshman, playing in his first game, like actually playing. I don't count the stuff he did earlier in the season, handing it off to Marquise Davis. Like, this was his first real moment. And I thought Zollers was fantastic, right? Given everything. But, you just have a couple of things go, 5 to 10 to 12 things go against you. I'm not just talking about the refs, but I did think, the refs, again, they called some stuff against Vandy, but like there were some things that absolutely backbreaking. Here's one from Landon on our YouTube. He commented, letting Vandy house an 80-yard touchdown on an outside counter was as backbreaking as well. And it totally was. And then again, given the moment, I think I was sitting down already. And I was just like, this is about to be where it goes the other way, isn't it? Your quarterback is hurt everybody knows that this is a bad injury, and it's a run play that's going to do you in when you have held Pavia in check the entire day. But it was a hold. They absolutely missed the holding call on an 80-yard touchdown, first play of the drive. The whole game goes different, man. There's so many different ways you can look back at it and say it goes different. With Beau, it goes different even after the Beau injury. Ethan comments on our YouTube, when the playbook was shortened with Zollers, it looked a lot better. Kirby is making it too complicated. I don't know how many weeks in a row it's been that I've said, yep, Kirby didn't have a great day, but this was another one. And it really, once it was Zollers coming in, now you could ask, like, is Kirby aware of Beau's kind of antsiness in the pocket and is calling plays to try and suit that or to mitigate that? That's certainly a possibility. But like, at a certain point, you just have to let Beau Pribula see if he can do it. He did it at the end against Auburn the previous week when he just flat had to. They had to throw because the run game was getting you nowhere. And I do feel like they absolutely had a simplified version of a passing offense that was successful with Matt Zollers. But yeah, the play calling was once again, I guess it's my 3rd week in a row of saying this. It was bad. And this time it cost them a game that they should have won.
I understand that. Yeah, there are some moments that it could have been a lot better. Sometimes it does come down to execution, though. Like, you do have to kind of come down to that. Like, I didn't think the offensive line had a bad day. I actually thought they were better than the day before or the week before.
No, they definitely were better than Auburn was. They were horrific.
That was their worst game of the year. They came out from that, and I think they did very well. But sometimes play calls look good when the plays actually get executed.
And they had some good things in the first half.
Yeah,
using receivers to try to expand that running game, and so it's not all up the middle, and so they can't just bull rush you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it on 3rd and 3 because it just got blown up in the backfield. But the fact that they said, no, this is the way to mitigate what they're going to try to do with a pass rush, with a bull rush to our running back. And so we're going to keep with it. And Coleman had a couple of big plays with that. There were good things that happened with the play calling, but in the key spots. And then it was, to your point, Andy, about timeout, clock management, spike the ball, don't spike the ball. Just the stuff that they just get out-coached on almost every single week, it feels like at this point. They've been winning some of these games despite some errors late, I think, when it comes to situational awareness. And this dates back not just this year. I can go back to last year. Vanderbilt game was a great example last year, where they've been able to win some games where that was not up to par, and it was not up to par on Saturday. It just wasn't.
Yeah, what you got, Billy?
I mean, you guys hit on most of it. One of the other mind-boggling things was the possession after the 4th and goal stop. They have it 3rd and 10 on the 15-yard line. I wasn't necessarily upset about a run call. I get it. You don't want to take the sack. What I was confused about, at that point, you're forfeiting picking it up, right? You're settling for 3. I didn't understand why that run went to the left hash. If you want to help your kicker out, and I get it. Maybe you think he should make it regardless, but he's shown difficulty. I don't understand how that ball doesn't get to the middle of the field.
Yeah, because
they tried to get him the yards.
Yeah.
They basically said, let's get him the yards to benefit the kicker. But where they ran it, put him into the situation where it was a more, it wasn't a centered kick. And so that's interesting. It's like you almost negated the effect you were having with the play call of let's make the kick easier for our kicker. And I am to the point, though, I'll see the next kicker. I get it. I'm not trying to bag on the kid. He's a true freshman and all that. We're ready to see the next kicker. I don't care which one it is, Robbins or the other kid that they got from the community college or whatever it was.
Look, they get a bye week now, right?
I'll see the next kicker. I don't care where it's from on the field. I was watching Oliver Robbins rip from 48 and halftime pregame. I'll see the next kicker now.
Okay.
I do not care. I'm over that. We're done with that.
Yeah, look, I mean, the results have to matter, and so if you're,
I'm not trying to be spiteful about it because he's a true freshman.
He's not supposed to be the guy, but he ended up being the guy, and he's the one that they threw out there. But at some point, you have
beyond an extra point. He's been okay on the extra points.
Right.
Beyond that, I'll see Robbins or the other guy.
And so we'll see what that decision ends up being in a couple of weeks with this. So 573-875-KTGR. If you want to call or text us, got a lot on the texter to get to, of course. And
we're gonna have to be. I mean, we there's even bigger because this weekend, and again, whatever playoff, not playoff, whatever it is, this week I feel like a tone has shifted in a way that I'm not loving. Just because as the backdrop of all this going on, you've had Drinkwitz's name floated around. Oh, here comes LSU as another job opening in a cycle where everybody is talking about the fact, I believe, was it Mandel that wrote about, there's everybody sort of talking about the fact that there's not enough quality coaches to fill these big programs that think they're getting their next slam dunk hire. I am telling you, this is troubling if you are a fan of Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. My tone has shifted on this. I was already a skeptic before the week. Now Eli Drinkwitz is tweeting out, philosophical quotes, but he's blocking the replies. So you can't. I'm telling you guys, it ain't good. I'm not feeling good about it. So I guess we'll see. What do you say? The obstacle becomes the path or whatever. It's very Confucius. I appreciate it. Drink loves his Twitter. He's blocking replies on Twitter now. I'm just telling you, it ain't good. That ain't a good look.
Derek texting in 875-KTGR. More drunk moments from Drink happens more times than not in close games. That's actually not true. He has a great close game record, 1-score games. He is actually very good in them. You can nitpick the decisions in each one of those games, sure, but this type of game that Mizzou lost, and really the type of games they have lost in the last 3 games, their 2 losses this year have been close. That has not necessarily been the norm for Eli Drinkwitz. He has been very good in these close games. The 2 of the losses they had last year were complete blowouts. Like you've had to get Mizzou early and bury them early last year in order to beat them. But this year, there's been a few moments where they haven't been able to find that last play. And here, there were so many other extenuating circumstances. Losing the quarterback in the middle of the game, missed kicks, everything like that. Just
if you would have told me that Zollers was going to play a significant role in this game as the quarterback due to injury, and it was going to still feel like Mizzou let one get away that they absolutely should have won, I would have been like, how did he score so many touchdowns? He didn't. He scored one touchdown drive, and they absolutely shut down Diego Pavia, and it meant nothing. They shut down Diego Pavia in the number one rated offense according to adjusted efficiency in the FPI Football Power Index coming into the week. They shut them down, and it meant nothing because you weren't able to get the win.
And that's crushing. And
that
now,
is devastating.
No margin for error left. I mean, we can talk.
And now everybody's looking and
forward.
saying, "Hey, look, Mizzou's season's basically over. Let's go get their football coach." And if I'm him, why wouldn't I listen? Because it does feel like things are crumbling a little bit. But that can't be the way that you feel about it in the building. You've got number 3 coming to town in 2 weeks, and you've got your bye timed perfectly to integrate your new quarterback. But man, the way that this team shows out against A&M is going to tell me so much about the future of the program. Frankly, I hope that Eli Drinkwitz is 1,000% locked in on what's coming, because it's not really his fault that he's getting calls from every which program trying to poach him. But like, this season is still there for the taking in a lot of ways, and there's going to be some obstacles now because everybody's looking at Missouri going, it's pretty much done. But it doesn't have to be. Brenton Orfleet's hurt too. There's so many thoughts going through my mind about how this could, like, if we fast forward a month and a half from now and Mizzou went 7-5 and Drink's coaching a different team, I won't be remotely surprised by any of that information. But it doesn't have to go that way. It's going to take the toughness that I ascribed to this team early in the season to do anything other than have it finished that way, though. At this point, they got to be tough to get on the other side of this one.
Mizzou fans, it's hard to swallow, but tell us what you think about Mizzou's situation now after a loss to Vandy and another injury to the quarterback room. 573-875-KTGR. If you want to call or text us, we'll get the thoughts of Bill Connelly next. His reaction to how it went down in Nashville, the crazy SEC weekend that took place. There were some games that really went down to the wire. It could have been a lot more chaotic than it ended up being, I suppose. And, what does this mean now for Mizzou the rest of the season? Bill Connelly joins us next on The Big Show, KTGR.
The Big Show with Andy and Brenden continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. One of my first and only auto claims for me personally came when we were on a long road trip, and I was maybe following a semi-truck a little too close, and we all know when those rocks pop up, crack your windshield. First thing I did the next day was call Phyllis. Phyllis handled the whole thing. She got us into, I think, one of the local vendors to replace our windshield, and within 24 hours, it was done, it was over, and made it a very seamless process.
On game day, every needs a. And every tailgate needs Kingsford charcoal. And a match. Whatever lot you're in, whatever you're grilling up for your fellow Tiger tailgaters, Kingsford charcoal is the official charcoal of Missouri football. Without it, you're just standing around in a parking lot. Since 1920, Kingsford has been proud to fire up your tailgates with friends and family. Kingsford.com.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings you everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field.
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
The warm scent of maple spiced coffee fills the air. And is that a hint of Caribbean rum? That must be Caldy's Coffee Highlander Grog Brewing, our decadent maple spiced blend that's won fans nationwide. Loved for how it smells and for how it makes you feel. Each cup brings back the comfort of a classic coffee morning. Cozy, nostalgic, maple spiced coffee. Shop Caldy'sCoffee.com for your bag today. Also available in pods.
If you're tired of telling that one guy that, yes, meetings are mandatory, and you're done doing so-and-so's projects because, well, they just couldn't get to it, then maybe it's time to revamp your team with MidmoHires.com. Post your open positions along with a description of the job, pay, location, and other info too. You don't have to put up with someone's shenanigans for much longer. Post your openings now at MidmoHires.com. Great local companies hiring great local people. MidmoHires.com.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
Well, a lot to dissect after Mizzou's latest game, a close loss at Vanderbilt. Lose the game. It's a top 15 matchup. It's your second loss. You're up against the wall when it comes to any CFP hopes that might be left. Oh, and by the way, the quarterback got hurt. So you're down to the third stringer now. Lots to dissect from the Mizzou angle. And let's try to do it now with Bill Connelly of ESPN as he joins us now on KTGR at ESPN_Bill C on Twitter. And go and read his great college football content over at ESPN.com. Bill, just the way that it went just from both sides, taking the injuries out of it, just, from the numbers of how Mizzou was able to do efficiency-wise, certainly against Diego Pavia, but then unable to back it up on the offensive end themselves. How did you kind of assess all of that?
No, that sounds about right. I think you nailed it. This is one of the better defensive performances you're going to see. Obviously, Vanderbilt had the 80-yard run that ended up making a big difference. That was pretty much it. Their success rate, this was a top 10 team in success rate. I think, my success rate measure is how frequently you're gaining 50% of yards on first down, 70% on second, 100% on third or fourth. They were around 50% for the year, top 10 in the country. They were 26.7% success rate on Saturday against Missouri's defense. Now, some of that, when you're backed up, you don't try anything. They had a bunch of plays backed up there in the third quarter, especially, but they were never efficient. Even when Zollers came into the game, Missouri was the more efficient team from that point forward. But the turnover obviously gave Vanderbilt a short field, and that ended up making the difference. So, yeah, I mean, it's when you've lost your Missouri's won a ton of close games through the years with great quarterback play and great clutch kicking and all these things. And then, you're trying to win a game against a top 10 team with a freshman kicker and then a freshman quarterback. And you almost pull it off, but not quite.
It is tough to see, at least from that vantage point. And when Mizzou got Matt Zollers essentially in the game, or had to put him in the game essentially, was there much difference with how it looked for Mizzou, or how did you kind of see it just from watching the game, I suppose, Bill, from what you saw out of Matt Zollers in this one?
Yeah, you saw some absolute freshman kind of naive moments here and there. Obviously the turnover was huge. The grounding at the end of the game. Obviously he didn't have much time to do much there, and then he tries to get rid of it, almost throws the pick. You see those moments, but also his numbers throwing the ball were better than Beau Pribula's, and that almost made up the difference. So it is kind of a weird situation now where I guess it's good that you have a bye week to figure some things things out. But, if you were able to work him in, if we could throw in another non-conference game real quick and work some kinks out, you'd have to feel pretty good about things. But you're throwing him straight in. Obviously, they were saying maybe Pribula gets back by the end of the year, but having A&M right out of the gate and OU 2 weeks later, especially, that's a lot to ask a freshman quarterback to beat, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's all coming up for Matt Zollers, and maybe it is nice that you have the bye week to settle him in a little bit in practice. But Bill, I ask you about that Texas A&M team because they obviously, they end the tenure of a head coach there at LSU. What did you make of the way that A&M though goes on the road and was dominant once again? Like they may not have been this top 3-4 team that we all viewed them to be coming into the season, but each and every result at this point has sort of reinforced just how good these guys really are.
Yeah, it's really hard to doubt a team that has won at Notre Dame and at LSU, and LSU at night, no less. It's a really confusing team. I mean, early in the year, their defense was suffering all sorts of glitches, but they won a track meet against Notre Dame. Then Mike Elko basically said, I hate track meets, and shut everything down, and slowed the offense down, ran the ball a lot more, did his defense a bunch of favors. They win like a 16-10 game against Auburn. And then we kind of had – the offense goes through these periods of glitches, which we saw in the first half against LSU as well. And then when they find a rhythm, it's 15, 20 minutes of the most confident ball you'll see anywhere in the country. And that ends up making the difference. So they're not the most consistent team in the world. Their overall season numbers, because they've been about 4 or 5 different teams already this year, their season long numbers are merely good. But we've seen them be great at everything at one point or another, and they're not going to be intimidated by an afternoon crowd at Faurot Field, even if it's a pretty good crowd. They've handled worse.
Certainly so. Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. And I'm also interested on the other angle of that with the LSU side. Now that they just said, now's the time. We need to go ahead and buy out Brian Kelly in year 4 of a 10-year contract. I wonder, Bill, it's not all that surprising looking back at it now, but just when you assessed how we got here with a program like LSU and the hire that they made there, how you kind of assessed why it turned so south for him at that point.
I mean, he doesn't try to be liked. And what that means is as long as he's winning, everything's fine. But your bar's higher when you're not making connections with players. Like, I can't remember who it was on Twitter last night was saying, like, how many guys are you seeing basically standing up for their coach right now, saying, posting little, the images on Twitter about I love you, coach, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's been none of that. And he hasn't even tried because that's not what Brian Kelly does. He's just going to be the hands-off CEO who doesn't try to get to know his players and wins games. So your bar is a lot higher and your leash is a lot shorter. And it is kind of crazy that we're in an environment right now where James Franklin with his record and Brian Kelly with his record, still 34-14 at LSU over 3.5 years, like better than most. Not only fired, but fired before November with $50-something million buyouts to lay into, even if that gets, negotiated, whatever else happens. This is a really, really weird time. We had like the smallest coaching carousel ever at the P5 level last year. And now we're really, it's going to, I don't even know what jobs are going to open here. There could be 5 or 6 or 7 more in Missouri that just, by the way, does not want to be one of those teams. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just LSU is another program to add to the list of teams that are going to, I don't know if they'll try to poach Eli Drinkwitz, but it seems like plenty of people might try to do so. Maybe something that could go well for Mizzou is if LSU can, or maybe Florida can hire Ole Miss's coach. But let me ask you about that Ole Miss team because they got a big win. They're still thinking about the playoff. That's kind of the part that makes you even more nervous a little bit with Mizzou maybe fading in the other direction. Ole Miss goes into Norman and gets that big win that they really needed. How do you view the Rebels right now in the hierarchy of everything going on? And I guess on the flip side, Oklahoma now has a tougher path given that they're still a very difficult remaining schedule.
Yeah, I mean, OU Tennessee this weekend is kind of an elimination game, and neither of them is going to have the resume, I don't think, as a 9-3 team to get in. So they're going to have to win out here. For Ole Miss, they kind of got a do-over. They, for 3 quarters against Georgia, they looked awesome, and then they just in that moment with your former D2 quarterback in front of a crowd that isn't always dialed in, but was extremely dialed in, they blinked and they let Georgia take them down. Then they have to turn around And I mean, Owen Field is one of the loudest places I've ever seen a game in. We know how, I mean, it was earlier and it was wet and all that. So maybe it wasn't 100% Owen Field, but it was an extremely hostile environment. And they entered the fourth quarter down a point, and they basically got to right a wrong by being the obviously superior team in the fourth quarter. So from that sense, it was good. And also now you look at their schedule, South Carolina at home, Citadel at home, Florida at home, at Mississippi State with a loss to give, basically. Obviously, if they lose again, they're probably out of the SEC race, and that might actually, as opposed to Georgia or Alabama, that might actually mean something to Ole Miss for the schools that actually haven't been able to win the SEC a ton. But they're in spectacular shape playoff-wise, and they're relatively healthy, and Lane Kiffin now gets to kind of not take his foot off the gas or anything like that, but kind of gets to experiment a little bit and see what else he can come up with over the next month because he has an extra mulligan to give.
Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show KTGR and the KTGR app. How much do you read into Alabama struggling the way they did against South Carolina? Is that just a survive and advance type of thing for them, or how do you come away from that one?
At this point, they are 2023 Washington. They have blue chippers. They shouldn't have to be 2023 Washington, but that Washington team went like 8-0 in one-score games, beat good teams by small margins, beat bad teams by small margins, just always made exactly the plays they needed to make. And this is Alabama. Like, it was so annoying. I texted my editor in the first quarter, like, oh, finally they get the lucky break. They get the funky bounce along the sideline, and the defender holds his man up, and they run to the end zone together for a touchdown. That's the underdog supposed to do that. But Alabama got that, and then the fumble at the end, and that was the difference in the game. They sleepwalked through a good couple of quarters there. And they, we've talked about this already, but from a pure statistical standpoint, they were kind of not the superior team against Georgia, not the superior team against Missouri. And here they are, 5-0 in conference, all but assured of a spot in the SEC title game at this point. So, it is what it is, but they are confident, and they absolutely know they're going to make the plays. And that does make an enormous difference in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we'll see what that looks like there. To this upcoming week, obviously Vanderbilt, they stay firmly in this conversation, and now they'll go to Texas, who we've kind of assumed by this point they would probably take that next loss with the way they've struggled against these sorts of teams. But they survive Mississippi State again. I suppose now the week looks a little bit different with Arch Manning and concussion protocol, apparently. But this game coming up in Austin, how do you see this one?
Major Applewhite stepping off the bench here and doing some interesting things. I'm very curious about that aspect of things, that's for sure. But look, right. They're 83rd nationally in points per drive right now. They're 76th in yards per play. And then here's another one. They're 120th in yards per drive. If we want to lean on that one, they have a bad offense. And so backup quarterback coming in for a bad offense probably isn't going to do much worse. And so, Texas has this little formula going where they make defensive play stops in the second half and get a miraculous return in the fourth quarter. And that's enough to win the last two games. And it put away the OU game as well. Like, maybe that keeps working, but Vanderbilt can move the ball, at least against teams not named Missouri. So they're going to have to probably score a little bit, and we'll see. That does make the game really interesting, though, as not only for the kind of snarky Major Applewhite part of it, but also because Vanderbilt now has to prepare for an offense with a quarterback they don't really know.
I want to ask you, Bill, about the cocktail party and maybe what Florida could potentially do to trip up Georgia in this spot. Obviously, Georgia looking to just get this one over with and make sure they come away with that rivalry win.
Well, apparently, first thing to do is go up 10 points early. Georgia seems to let anybody who wants to do that do it. So Florida should take advantage of that. This is a very Auburn-like team. Florida is, in that they're just really annoying. They play really good defense. They can run the ball efficiently. They're not making a ton of big plays, although the passing plays that we saw with the freshman, against Texas was kind of intriguing. But it's just an inconsistent offense and a good defense. And if Georgia is dialed in, they'll be fine. But they seem to thrive on not being dialed in for three quarters. And then, once they taste the blood in their mouth, they start playing well. Like that can absolutely backfire on you in a rivalry game. But I'm just going to assume that Georgia gets it done because we don't have any evidence they won't.
It seems that way. We'll see what that looks like. And you brought it up earlier, Bill, but this does in fact seem like an elimination game for Oklahoma and Tennessee. So with both of them, they kind of reeling from their earlier loss and feeling like, okay, we got to find ways to get back to it and have to win out the rest of the way. Who do you think kind of handles that situation a little bit better? Maybe not even just in this game, but maybe going forward with the schedules they have.
No, this is a hilarious styles game because I looked it up earlier. The average OU SEC game so far has averaged 40.8 total points. Tennessee game has averaged 74.4 total points. It was something like Tennessee hasn't allowed less than 30 and OU hasn't scored more than 30 in SEC play yet. So yeah, I don't know exactly. For Auburn, Arkansas, we had a similar game last week and it basically ended up right in the middle. I guess that's where we're going to be here. But I think I just trust Tennessee a little bit more. Oklahoma's offense really is maybe if they, the running back who kind of had a nice game, Xavier Robinson against Ole Miss, maybe if that's a new thing that they can lean on, that will help. But I think I just trust Tennessee's offense to make enough plays against the defense, and OU eventually makes a couple of creates a couple turnovers or commits a couple turnovers and falls.
Yeah, very interesting there. Of course, the SEC, we'll see how many spots are left for them, I suppose, as well, because the ACC has been a little more interesting with Miami taking the loss earlier. They are at SMU this weekend. Of course, the Big 12 is looking a little more convoluted. BYU won't lose, Bill. What's going on with all of this? I just wonder now with look, there's 4 or 5 weeks left in this thing before we see, and less than that before we see the first CFP ranking very soon. I just wonder how you see the landscape for the teams outside the SEC that have the best shot at this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're an SEC fan, you're rooting hard against BYU and Georgia Tech. Those are kind of the two outliers there that could get to the finish line 12-0. And I guess if Georgia Tech does it, that means they beat Georgia too. So they're in no matter what in that case. But that's until they lose. The ACC and Big 12 are looking at potentially kind of maybe stealing at least 3 spots between the two of them. And that's a spot less for the SEC. So that'll be, it really is funny this year. We've got the Big Ten. We know the top 3 teams, the top three best teams in the country might all be in the Big Ten. And then in my SP Plus rankings, the SEC still has 8 of the top 15 without any in the top 3 or 4. So it is going to be just how many can get to the finish line at 10-2, and whether the Big 12 and ACC can get multiple teams to at least 11-1 heading into championship week. That's going to be kind of where the balance is there. And it'll be interesting. I'm enough of a fan of the underdog in general that my natural impulse is to root for BYU and Texas Tech and so on here. But I'm supposed to be an SEC guy now. So
exactly, company line, right?
That's right.
That's the way it goes. But hey, it'll be fun. Root for chaos. I think that's just what
that's always absolute nonsense. And that is one thing about this coming week. Not a ton of amazing looking games, but half the top 25 is on the road and just slightly favored in a lot of cases. So we're gonna have some upsets this week. Just don't ask me which ones.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Mizzou won't be part of the action, but trying to be ready for 2 weeks from now, their big one against Texas A&M. And great to chat with Bill Connelly of ESPN here on The Big Show. Thanks, Bill, for coming on. Hope you're well. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
You bet. It is 4:44 here on The Big Show, KTGR. This is going to be a very interesting weekend. Again, the Big 12 is looking much spicier. There's a lot of road teams that are in the top 25 that could take a tumble. There's a team right. Cincinnati is ranked ahead of Utah, but Utah is a 7.5 point favorite at home. Explain that to me. It's going to kick off at 9:15. You ready for that?
Yeah,
on Saturday. PM?
That's going to be unique for sure. And I guess at this point, rooting for chaos is just about the best way to spend that Saturday with no Mizzou game happening. So maybe that's what I'll do.
So that's the plan for now. In the meantime, Under the Bus coming up next. Okay, let's talk about the play and the guy that was in the middle of it, the Beau Pribula play, the Vanderbilt player that was the guy that essentially tackled him. That's next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon, I'm Billy Jones. This live local sports center is with Lee's Tire Company. It's rounded rubber. Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Missouri loses on Saturday, their second SEC loss of the season as they dropped to 6-2 and 2-2 in the SEC. 17-10 loss. The big news from Saturday. Starting quarterback Beau Pribula out with an apparent ankle injury. CBS Sports reporting today that there is an outside chance he will return before the end of the season. Missouri will be off next Saturday. Their next game will come on Saturday, November 8th, as they take on the third-ranked Texas A&M Aggies. SEC announced today that will be a 2:30 game airing on the SEC, or excuse me, on ABC. You can hear that one right here on KTGR. Chiefs in action tonight, 7:15 start as they take on the Washington Commanders. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels out with a hamstring injury. Their defensive tackle Deron Payne questionable with a toe injury on the Chiefs side. Josh Simmons out related to a personal matter. And offensive lineman Trey Smith doubtful with a back injury. Blues in action tonight. They'll get underway at 6 o'clock against the Pittsburgh Penguins, trying to rebound after 3 straight losses. Up next, your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking cloudy skies and temperatures dropping into the upper 40s to around 50 overnight. Tomorrow's looking dreary. We'll see some showers moving back in by afternoon and becoming more widespread through Tuesday night. High temperatures in the mid to upper 50s tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll see some morning rain with gusty winds. Temperatures in the morning will be in the low to mid 40s with highs only around 52. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Did you miss the Mizzou Play of the Week?
In motion, Coleman to the left. Zollers wants to throw, throws it underneath. Sliding grab, touchdown Missouri, Jude James. His second of the season. Scored in the opener against Central Arkansas and on a right-to-left cross. Sliding grab in the end zone on a perfectly thrown ball by Matty Zollers.
The Mizzou Play of the Week is powered by Yingling. Your home for Mizzou football is KTGR.
Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. It's available to play in Missouri, so you can turn your basketball knowledge into cash right now. Playing on Underdog is as easy as going higher or lower on player stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Then you make enough picks to put together an entry, and if you get all the picks in your entry right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So while all the scoring ramps up this basketball season, be sure that you're scoring too with Underdog. Download the app today and use promo code KTGR to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code KTGR. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 or older and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/plan to get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
It was 2:30 on a Tuesday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing answered the call. It was a dismayed wife. Fresh off vacation, her and her hubby came home to a wrecked water heater. It had sprung a leak, a bad one. So while the plumbing team took care of that leaky water heater, Brian's certified restoration guy, Josh, with 2 decades of experience, came in to restore the area and stop mold in its tracks. Another day, another job, another expert added to the team. Ho hum. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
From Branson Landing to the Capitol Dome, Union Station to the Tigers' home. Big old service is Missouri's best. Our trusted team outpaces the rest.
Get our Healthy Car Special for only $39.95 from your Missouri-owned and operated Big O.
Show me state coverage wherever you go. We've got you covered at Big O.
Macadoodles does selection like nobody else. If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Macadoodles has you covered. With Columbia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Macadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Macadoodles today. Macadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
As a business, customers are your number one priority. You need them to survive, and you're always looking for more ways to reach them. That's where ShopMidmo.com comes in. When you're part of ShopMidmo.com, hundreds of potential customers will see your offers helping you build your base. ShopMidmo.com is an amazing tool for restaurants, retail, entertainment, and other places that offer great experiences. Find out how ShopMidmo.com can give your business a jumpstart. Contact us today at ShopMidmo.com.
ShopMidmo.com. 1851 Underground in Fulton is a unique spot with delicious menu items like the prime rib sandwich, sliced and stacked with pepper jack cheese, caramelized onion, creamy horseradish, and crispy onion straws, all on ciabatta bread. Grab some friends and check out the daily happy hour from 3 to 5, weekends included. Enjoy a craft beer or a cocktail. It's no secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brenden on The Big Show on KTGR.
Okay, I guess, are we doing it? I mean, I'll let you do it if you really want to, Brenden, but
what's up?
Joshua Singh, the defensive lineman that held the foot of Beau Pribula at the goal line on the play that he was injured. It appeared that he kind of rolled to his shoulder while still holding Pribula's foot. And obviously Pribula gets injured.
Yeah. Devastating injury. I mean, Pribula was stacked up at the goal line, was going down. But then as you watch the play, it looks like a very unnecessary roll up, in my opinion, that contributes to this happening. I mean, the guy has hold of his leg and rotates, as you said, onto his shoulder and tries to basically get on his back. And it's a dirty play. It's 100% a dirty play. Yeah, I'll throw Joshua Singh, I believe that's his name, under the bus.
I mean, I don't blame him for holding on to Pribula's leg, like on the ankle. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. He's at the goal line. Hold on to him as long as you can. Don't let him score. I do come into question a little bit the twisting part of it. Like, I don't know what we obviously can't see how he was holding Pribula's foot, but it obviously brings into question, like, do you need to roll to the side that you did?
It's 100% a dirty play.
I'm not 100% there, but I'm not going to make you feel differently. That's kind of where I'm at.
I am requesting the horn honked on the play.
It's under the bus.
There. I mean, and look, I don't want to bash the kid because he probably doesn't mean to. But
I don't know. I'm not going to ascribe to his intentions on that.
Otherwise,
it's not a good
we
look.
move on. Under the bus, also to the tush push. We have to do it again because they're not calling false starts, first of all, and now they're not even calling fumbles on it.
They've upgraded in a way we didn't even think was possible to get it wrong.
Clear as day. It's not even like blocked by several bodies in the scrum. No, he's on the edge of the pile up, and we see a Giants player take the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands before he's down. And before a reasonable amount of time passes where you could rule forward progress. Like, it is disgusting at this point.
They need to get rid of the play. And I've come up with new reasons each time for feeling that way, but I don't know. This year, it feels like the drumbeat has been so loud because every week it's something different with this play that I feel like they might get the votes they need the next time it comes up in those, what is it, the owners' meetings? They've got to vote on it.
Yep.
It could get to that point, Andy. I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
I think it needs to. Like, there's way too much
evidence. Refs can't keep up. They clearly cannot keep up with it.
No. And I don't care that this was the first year that we maybe noticed this and it happened other years and they're like, well, you didn't have a problem with it. No, like it's very clear as day now. Like, don't just not change the rule because we didn't know about how bad the rule might have been 5-10 years ago. I don't care. Change it. Like, it needs to, that calls into question the integrity of your game. If the officials cannot officiate the play enough to the degree that they officiate all other plays, then it compromises the integrity of your game. You need to get rid of it.
Under the bus.
So that was all fun and good, I suppose, at least for the Eagles part of it. The Giants, meanwhile, also not very fun. Another devastating injury for them.
I'm over the injuries in football, all of them. Yeah. That sucks, man. Did you see he got a standing O from Eagles fans? That's
Big
crazy.
Dom delivered like snacks to him, like in the hospital. That was
Everybody loves Cam Scatterbo. I mean, that's clear, but that sucks.
Well, today is the sports equinox. All of the major sports are in action. You got Monday Night Football tonight, the NFL, Chiefs, obviously. World Series tonight, Game 3, Blue Jays, Dodgers. There's NBA games. There's NHL games. The one time a year where it all intersects. There's even Major League Soccer playoff games tonight, baby.
Wow.
All of the major sports on one day, October 27th.
Yeah, because you can't. I was trying to think of other times of the year. It's got to be during NFL season, so you're not going to get NFL and baseball at the same time other than tail end of the baseball season. It's unfortunate, too, that I have zero appetite to watch a sport right now, given everything that happened. Billy knows he was there. I just can't deal, but I'm going to have to find a way forward. So for those who can enjoy the sports equinox tonight, I'll be watching the Chiefs in the World Series. Who am I kidding?
Hey.
But for those who don't have the emotion tied to the previous weekend like I do, I'm jealous of you.
Well, we'll see if any more sports get watched by Brenden tonight. 573-875-KTGR if you want to call in with your thoughts on Mizzou. We'll talk more about it at 5:05. Can Matt Zollers get it done? Because it seems like he's going to be the guy, at least for now. We'll talk about it here in a few minutes. And, of course, the college football coaching carousel thickens. We'll talk about it at 5:25.
College football is all about the next generation. Fresh talent, big plays, new energy every season. That's the same approach behind Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. Just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories with real beer flavor that keeps up from kickoff to the post-game recap. So whether you're tailgating or celebrating a win, make Flight your go-to. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Columbia's best Black Friday gun sale is at Minutemen Defense. November 18th through the 29th, everything except ammo is on sale. Big giveaways November 28th and 29th, including merch, ammo bundles, and Cerakote packages. Don't miss Friday and Saturday specials, plus tiered savings on S-Tac gear. Shop their website now through Black Friday and use the code RADIO at checkout for a special Black Friday discount on your purchase. Visit MinutemenDefenseLLC.com. Minutemen Defense off I-70 in Rangeline.
Hit a deer, win a cow. Hit a deer, win a cow. Hit a deer, win a cow. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. Award-winning auto collision repair. Don't wait, we're great. We work with all insurance companies. We work with all insurance companies. Yes, we work with your insurance company. New Bloomfield, Missouri. FPPBodyShop.com. 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 Fletcher, Performance and Paint.
This weekend, cancel your plans. Brunch is calling at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Start with biscuits, not just any biscuits, local made, buttermilk, sweet corn, even gluten-free, smothered in scratch-made gravy, pork sausage, or the chorizo. Don't forget the loaded biscuit, fluffy omelet, drenched in gravy, stacked so high it's basically brunch art. And then there's the Dive Cristo, smoked ham, house-made raspberry jam, gooey cheese wrapped in a flaky puff pastry. The Monte Cristo wishes it was this good. Brunch Saturday and Sunday only at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Don't just eat, experience.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
I'm Christine Lisi. The World Series resumes tonight in Los Angeles, where the Dodgers will host the Blue Jays, tied up at a game apiece. ESPN radio coverage in 1 hour. Max Scherzer coming off a strong performance in Game 4 of the ALCS starts for Toronto. Tyler Glasnow counters for LA. ESPN MLB analyst Doug Glanville.
A guy like Glasnow for the Dodgers, great arm, a little different style than, say, Snell and Yamamoto. Sort of works the big fastball up and the breaking ball. He's not known to just go deep in the game. He can get a little bit wild. So you're going to see the bullpen have to make the difference between these two. But the Dodgers being home, that's going to be a big plus for them for sure.
Doug Glanville on Clinton and Friends. LA is 5-1 at home this postseason. NFL and MRI confirmed Bills defensive tackle Ed Oliver has a torn biceps. He's out indefinitely. Vikings quarterback Carson Wentz will undergo season-ending surgery on his left shoulder. J.J. McCarthy expected to return as Minnesota starter as soon as this Sunday versus Detroit. NBA Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards out 2 weeks due to a right hamstring strain.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
From Faro.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brenden on KTGR.
So what now for Mizzou? Lost to Vandy. Also, lost the quarterback in the process. Now you're down to the third stringer, true freshman Matt Zollers. He looked pretty good when he was out there. But now, if he is, in fact, the guy for the rest of this season, as might be the case, tell us what you think about how he can do and whether he can get the job done. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR here on The Big Show with Andy and Brenden and producer Billy. We'll also have thoughts on Brian Kelly getting ousted, the latest ouster in Power 4 head coaching gigs. So that coaching carousel, another reminder that it's going to get crazy this offseason. And who you got? Chiefs? Commanders tonight. Monday Night Football, 5:45. We'll discuss. Get our predictions in for that. 573-875-KTGR to call or text us. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Well, Mizzou Vanderbilt over the weekend was the biggest disaster of my sports watching life. I was down there in Nashville. I was 5 rows away from the field to be able to see up close and personal Beau Pribula in a cast. Yeah, he's out for the foreseeable future with what sounded like a pretty gnarly ankle injury. And look, whether he can make it back before the end of the season or not, obviously it does feel like the Tigers season rests upon the shoulders of Matt Zollers, who came into a difficult situation and performed pretty well given the circumstances as a true freshman. But the Tigers end up losing the game 17-10 at Vanderbilt. They dropped to 19 in the latest AP poll. And they get a bye week from here to prepare for Texas A&M, who looks like a juggernaut. Yikes.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's being a chicken little to say the vibes are off at this point. LSU finally fires Brian Kelly this weekend, adding arguably the biggest opening to the coaching carousel. And I'm absolutely not looking forward to the way it might spin as it relates to Mizzou. Look, if Drink doesn't have an extension, my standing assumption is that there's a notable possibility of him leaving for one of these big openings. You got Florida, you got LSU, you got Penn State, you got Drinkwitz tweeting out Confucius-sounding quotes and blocking the replies. I don't love the way things are trending right now. I really don't.
Number 3.
We do have football tonight. Chiefs get their opportunity to take on the Commanders at Arrowhead. Marcus Mariota will start for the injured Jaden Daniels. I don't think Mariota's ever faced the Chiefs before, so this will probably be fine. No, the Chiefs are favored by like 10.5 points. And honestly, I'm not really expecting a slip up. They just have been a well-oiled machine recently. And I'm thinking that offense under Patrick Mahomes is going to continue to move. But you do have to note Trey Smith doubtful with a back injury and still no Josh Simmons due to a personal matter for the Chiefs.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Blues Penguins tonight in Pittsburgh. The note coming off of 3 straight losses. They've had like turnstiles at goaltender this year. Jordan Binnington, 53rd in the league in save percentage, and Joel Hofer is 67th out of 68 NHL goalies. It's just been one big yikes after another. We'll see if it gets any better tonight starting the 6 o'clock puck drop.
Number 5.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap!
I am contractually obligated to talk sports, so you'd think that something like the sports equinox tonight would be right up my alley. But it couldn't have come at a worse time for Brenden. I just don't want to have to think about sports any more than I have to after the devastating Mizzou Saturday. After the show, I'm just going to eat and go to bed. I won't even turn on anything. Okay, who am I kidding? Chiefs on one screen, World Series on another.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. Yeah, come on. You can't miss Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
In the start. Historic start.
Maybe I get the Blues on my phone. Maybe I'll get, I don't know. I'll come up with a way to enjoy the equinox with everybody. But I'm not there yet. I'm still in mourning after everything.
I get it.
And I'm worried about the
hard.
future. So it's a lot going on.
No,
a lot to get to.
I understand. A lot to get to. We'll see what that. I should say before we dive into that. By the way, World Series tonight. You not only can watch it, you can also listen right here on KTGR.
There you go.
It's right after we're done. So if you want to stay distant from sports and be like, maybe I don't want to watch it, but I can listen because I still want to follow it and I want to hear John Sean because he's great. Then listen on KTGR tonight. ESPN Radio's coverage begins at 6 p.m. for World Series Game 3. But want to mention that through all of that, I know it was before the weekend, essentially. Mizzou men's basketball played an exhibition game and scored 100 points.
That's
right?
my bad.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
my bad.
No.
Oh, you know what?
What?
They did, and I was supposed to put it in the top 5 and frankly under the bus because we got to talk about that student section setup.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. Twitter's not wrong about this one.
No,
I know it's not a real place drink. I know Twitter doesn't exist. If it didn't exist, why do you have to block the replies? Anyway, this student section thing is, what are they doing, Andy? Can you defend this, or are you on my side with this one? I'm upset about it. I think they should change it back.
I think you can have similar seating that you created on that baseline, maybe on the other baseline, right? That's kind of my first thought, right? That is tough to defend, I think. Yeah.
It's stupid. What are we doing?
I don't know.
There's so many good things. Here's the deal. This is a busy week. It's a bye week. The athletic department has 2 jobs this week. Number 1, get Eli Drinkwitz to sign a contract extension. Yes, even off of a loss. And number 2, go fix the damn student section row in front of it. We don't need a row of empty chairs. What are we doing? I do not think it was an overreaction. I saw a lot of hate.
No, I'm not
on
saying
Twitter,
it is.
and I
It's
actually
just,
think it's appropriate.
And look, I get it. Things are more expensive. You need more money. You need to generate more revenue. It's all fine and good. They even created more. The scorers table is shorter now because they added some courtside seats kind of near where the benches are. So it's kind of like what you see in the NBA a little bit. There are fans there. I think they're still technically separated from the actual coaches. There's more courtside seating on all sides, essentially. Yeah, but when you start messing with the student section, that gets to be a little different. But
I think it's short-sighted. I hope they reconsider it. Okay. That's all I've got to say about it for now, because we've seen it once. They've seen the reaction, and we'll see if they can remaneuver, because that was, didn't look great. But to your point, Andy, and I apologize.
all good.
I was gallivanting on Friday night, and so I was not as locked in as I otherwise might have been on the Mizzou K-State exhibition. But from what I hear, Anthony Robinson looked good. Was that?
Anthony Robinson was
accurate?
near perfect in this game.
Okay.
He did not miss a field goal attempt. He was 3 of 5 from the free throw line, but didn't turn the ball over. 4 assists in 23 minutes. That is an excellent line, I think, from Anthony Robinson.
So I heard right about him.
So
I heard Honor Boateng looked good as well.
Honor Boateng also looked well in 23 minutes. 4 of 5 from the floor, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, 15 points and 6 rebounds. That was a welcome sign. Sean Phillips looked very good. Jaden Stone looked very good. And look, there's all this it's only an exhibition game. I won't treat it the same as other exhibition games, though. This is a step up from it, because it's not
they didn't play Westminster. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
last
year they played Lincoln in an exhibition game, and you couldn't learn anything from that. They beat them by 50, and there were dunks and all that kind of stuff. This is a team in the Power Four that they also went through the same kind of rotational stuff. They get everybody in, everybody gets a shot. We're not actually going to play most of the players that were going to want to play a lot of the season. But PJ Haggerty, their big transfer this year, played 25 minutes and led the team in minutes. He was out there a ton. And so
a basketball bench is so short to where you've got to have the players that you're relying upon this year to play in this exhibition game, and they're not going to slouch. They're going to want to play well. And so I think Mizzou getting to 100 in this one, like I think mainly the defenses kind of suffering games like this. Right?
I would expect a high-scoring game for this sort of game, but you know,
like to have a game against Kansas State, and I don't know how good Kansas State will be this year. Maybe not all that great. I don't know, but it was a game that largely was not really in question. Like Mizzou had a comfortable lead for a lot of the second half, and it closed down in the final minutes and became a 9-point game. But this was pretty good for Mizzou. I'm encouraged by this.
What was the final?
191.
Oh, what I wouldn't do to trade 10 of those points to the football team.
Man. Yeah, it's true.
I would take the loss in the exhibition if it meant could have been 20-17.
Yeah,
we were just a matter of inches from overtime.
If Sean Phillips could have been the one catching the football in the end zone, all that, I don't know. But
if Zollers, I mean, he still threw it, whatever it was, 40 some odd, probably more like 50 something air yards because it was to the corner, the front pylon basically. But yeah, just a gut punch.
No, I get it. It's tough. But look, like everyone is trying to stay positive about this. Let's get to our texter here. AAA saying Zollers 6'4" with a live arm. After watching him play a bit through the season, I see nothing bad except inexperience. When it comes to that,
that's it.
Like, he just needs some seasoning, right? To be out there and go through these.
He's gonna get it,
right?
He's gonna get his seasoning.
Daniel saying on our texter, honestly, a blessing in disguise. I love Beau and think he's a great kid, but ever since competition has heated up, he just hasn't been throwing it downfield or seeing the field very well. I think Zollers will throw downfield and open up the run game again for Hardy and Roberts to get the offense rolling again. So I
can't call it a blessing in disguise. I can't do that, but I'm not giving up on the team by virtue of the injury. Like the injury doesn't make me say the season's over. Losing to Vanderbilt kind of makes me say the college football playoff thing is over, but there can still be things gleaned from this season as long as everybody involved in the program is locked in and focused on that goal. But yeah,
today I can't say that Mizzou is more likely to win the games in front of them than they were previously. No Beau Pribula injury. I can't bring myself to say that.
Are they less likely? How much do you
that's
dock
the question,
them for
Nate.
the QB change?
That is maybe the question, right? So I don't know. Here's how I assess Matt Zollers. He looked awesome. Like it looked poised. There were some freshman moments, obviously. I think the fumbled exchange between him and Roberts, like a lot of that is on Zollers because at the last moment he tried to pull it away, but a great defensive play by the Vandy player, and he gets the turnover, and that's ultimately what Vandy uses to win the game. Some off throws here and there, but overall, thrown into that situation, you give him a lot of props for operating the offense the way that he did, and under some pressure. These were not only straightforward throws. There was a 4th and 4, I believe, where he had to fit it above a linebacker and find a guy on kind of a deep little fade route to convert a 4th and 4, and he placed it perfectly. Like, this is a really talented kid, and he showed it in this game. Here's what I worry about. 2 main things. First of all, the opponent is much tougher. Obviously, Texas A&M's defense is not Vanderbilt's defense. This will be a step up in competition. A&M, most assuredly on defense, but also obviously on offense too, has looked awesome. It's just a very tough task to deal with your very first college start, but nothing you can really do about that. The second thing, look, that first game he was running off of adrenaline, I'm sure. The thrust in when he wasn't expecting to have to play all that much, but then he goes in, and when you're feeling it in the moment that way, you're trying to immediately rush your mind and mentally be ready for this, and then you just kind of flow into the game almost naturally, especially for a guy as talented as he is. So he's definitely deserving of credit for what he did there in that situation. But now you essentially know that you're the starter. Like Beau Pribula maybe is back for the end of the regular season, but that's a huge maybe.
By the way,
according to all the reports. Yeah, I would. Yeah, It would shock
Just
me
seeing
too.
the situation, that would shock me.
Looking forward to talking to Will Carroll about this tomorrow
Sure.
as far as what Beau Pribula's injury actually means. But look, I would be shocked. Like you need to assume that it's Matt Zollers for Texas A&M in 2 weeks. And the thing is, he knows that, and everybody knows that, and that makes it tougher because you have to, in your mind, prepare for being the starter. How do you treat the entire lead up into that game? How do you prepare? How do you watch film? And you have to be careful about not overthinking it all. Like people maybe say like, good thing he's on a bye week. That way he has more time to prepare. I actually don't think it's all that helpful because now it's another week that he has to think about. Oh,
you get the reps
I
in
can't
practice.
make mistakes anymore. Like I've got to be the guy. So that's the challenge that he now has to overcome.
We're going to find out. I mean, it's going to go one way or the other. Zollers is going to be, another quarterback that is worthy of being recruited to a power program like he was, and he's going to go out there and play, and maybe he'll be just fine, and he'll just be a quarterback. Everybody saw the way he came in against Vandy and gave us a chance, and so everybody wants to. And look, he had hype before that. He had hype coming in. He's had hype since Mizzou got him to commit, right? So people are excited about always the next, and like there is variance when it comes to these kids. Like sometimes you have a quarterback recruit and they come out and then they disappoint you. Sometimes you have one and they're Johnny Manziel, like, and then most of them are going to land somewhere in between, Andy, realistically. But Texas A&M also gets to now prepare to know, okay, Zollers is going to be who we're facing. It's going to be, not a lot of tape on him necessarily, but they'll watch the Vandy stuff, I'm sure. But like, you're who they're expecting in 2 weeks. And they're expecting to win every game so they can go to the SEC championship and the college football playoff and everything like that. And with Mizzou, you've got a lot of issues, and we're not really going to know all of them. But like other players left that game injured, and now it's a bye week, so we're not necessarily going to get all the information. That'll be an availability report for the ages when we get one ahead of the A&M game. Like Brett Norfleet, not a good sounding situation on him. Dislocated shoulder, I think I saw. Is that the thing?
Like
this is bad.
Reports. Although, let's give props to Jude James, though. Like he stepped up big in the passing game. He had like 2 catches all year before that, and he's
going to play. Yeah. I mean, he's clearly going to play and has a connection with Zollers, it looked like. So, that's at least nice to see that develop and play out in real time. I was wondering if it was injuries that was getting him on the field more, if it was there's maybe more rapport with him and Matt Zollers because of, practice reps or whatever the case may be.
I think so.
And it worked. I mean, whatever the reason was, it played out in that they had something going there for sure. But yeah, it's your biggest test that remains, is the next one. I'm not even worried about like college football playoff. I'm worried about, and I'm not predicting it to go this way, but it's in the back of my mind that like, again, this goes one of two ways with this goes like last year against Texas A&M or last year against Alabama when you had to turn to another quarterback mid-game. Like this season looks completely different, Andy, and like do you worry about people just start checking out on the season? Like that's not where we're supposed to be right now, and the margins of these losses were so minimal.
Yeah.
But this is we're in the danger zone right now, Andy, because there's going to be a fork in the road on, and we can talk until we're blue in the face about how tough Mizzou has been, and they have been. They were tough on Saturday with all the circumstances. They still almost came up with that win. But how much can a team take before it cracks? And the noise about the drink stuff at this point is more than noise. I'm sorry. I'm not going to just do the company line. Drinkwitz would love nothing more than nobody to talk about it. And again, it's not his fault. People calling on him is not his fault. It's a credit to the job he's done at Mizzou. But it's going to, if it happened already, it's going to become a distraction, especially during a bye week where, his team has nothing to do but scroll social media. And like these things, I know it's easy to say, block out the noise. The noise is going to get loud. So if I don't doubt for a moment that Mizzou is going to do everything possible to keep Eli Drinkwitz for as long as they can. I sure hope there's a secret contract extension, even if we don't find out about it till later. And I know they're coming off of a loss, but I think we all recognize what Drink has built here. And this is going to be an all-timer of a coaching carousel to fend off the poachers. So if it's money, if it's whatever the guy needs, man, they gotta come through with it and do it. And the truth of the matter is, only Drink knows what it is he wants or needs, and it may not be something that Mizzou can offer. And
but here's
the more this season turns a bad direction, the more I would fear exactly that mentality. So I don't know. It's a weird Monday, man. It's a lot of thoughts and emotions about the season and the future, because other people are looking and say, oh, the odds, the betting odds said Drink was this, that, and the other. And it's like, yeah, that's probably not based in anything, but we also can do the math of, man, if Mizzou's sitting there if they're sitting there at 7-4 or whatever, and the season's winding down, attention spans shift at that point. This A&M game, man, feels like it could be bigger than just, what Mizzou's final record is this year. I don't know. We're in the danger zone.
Well,
I'm not afraid to say that.
How they play matters. I don't know if they'll essentially fold it just from any type of loss. A blowout loss could mean something different there. You can see things going that direction that you're describing. If in fact,
because I don't think they're 10 to 14 points worse than A&M.
No,
I think A&M's the better team what we've seen. But at home for Mizzou, I don't think that this should be, we just gotta roll over to the number 3 team in the country. I don't think Mizzou is that much of a disadvantage here against this team.
Won't.
I think they're a damn good football team.
They won't play it like that. I mean, again, the margins in this league are so thin. And look, A&M has had to benefit from a few thin margins. Now, look, last few games, they've been shooting off like a rocket against
LSU stunk. I was right about it. They just stink. And
they've stopped playing for their coach. They've got good players that deserve to be there, but they've stopped playing for their coach. That's what's happening.
You see the former players tweeting out and sharing different reactions to the firing?
Oh, yeah.
Like, largely, it's about damn time type of reaction from former players, guys that are in the NFL right now. That's it. By the way, if Drink does leave and we have to talk about coaching carousel, do not bring Brian Kelly's name anywhere near my vicinity.
Oh, no.
You want to talk about
big NO?
You want to talk about James Franklin? I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about Brian Kelly. I know I'm putting the cart before the horse. I hope Drink's the coach for a decade plus. But Brian Kelly, what a nightmare. And LSU is going to have to pay through the nose. I guess they settled on the buyout, but they're going to have to pay to get out from under that one.
I don't think my prediction is that nobody hires Brian Kelly this cycle. And look,
you don't think?
I don't know if he,
with how crazy this cycle is, somebody's going to get desperate.
Possibly, but also Brian Kelly needs to be in this, right? And he's got a big cushy buyout that he could sit on at the moment. So maybe he wants to.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are on that. Like, James Franklin had to look for another job to get the buy. I don't really know what the deal is.
Yeah, whatever it was. Bottom line, he is owed quite a bit of money, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be interesting to talk about here. But yeah, to me, it's a game where Mizzou, I'm sure they still feel today, look, we can make this happen. We can probably beat this team that's coming to our place, that we are extra motivated to play much better against, because they embarrassed us when we went down there last year. And I don't think any of that changes for the group. Obviously, you have to overcome, the team itself has to overcome. All right, now we got to play for this true freshman and see what that looks like. And it's nothing against Matt Zollers. It's just more so about Beau Pribula, because this team was bought in on that guy. But it's overcoming that mentally for everybody else on the team, and then it's overcoming it mentally for Matt Zollers. Like, now, how do you approach 2 weeks? You prepare for your first college start, and also keep in mind, missed a whole high school senior season last year. Like, these are the most snaps that he's played in 2 years of his football life. And so that's also part of how you wanted to ease him into this, but now you have no choice. Now you got to see what he's got in a hostile situation. Even though you're at home, that is a hostile team that you have to deal with.
And I'm going to need the offensive line to protect him, and I'm going to need no quarterback running plays moving forward.
Oh.
Thank you. You can't.
Well, at least no scripted ones. Right?
It was right. It was different when we talked about Sam Horn's injury. We're like, Beau Pribula's mobility is part of what makes him attractive as a quarterback. They need to protect Matt Zollers, because what the hell happens after that? I mean, you want to talk about a season just folding up and being, is it a Mod Hardy Wildcat? Like, it's over at that point.
I really don't know.
So,
yeah.
And that's in the back of my mind. He's going to take a hit in this A&M game where I'm going to go, is he okay? Like, it's inevitable. It's football. It's going to happen. This season, man, had so much promise, and it's not over, but I cannot help myself. And again, people might be hearing this going, why are you going to the worst case scenario? Like, there's still so much out there. Technically, it's all still on the table if you win out. But I'm driven a little bit more by fear at this point because something changed on Saturday where I'm like, man, if they're tough enough to overcome all of that, they are the toughest group I've ever seen. And maybe that's what they are, Andy. Maybe that's what the story of this season becomes. But only time's going to tell on that front.
Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. Grant texts in. Remember, Texas A&M will have no tape on Zollers. Advantage Mizzou. Well, they have some tape now.
Little tape.
He's got they got a little bit. It's like a true freshman quarterback. I don't think Texas A&M will be all that. But keep in mind, they're on bye too. They get all week to prepare on all 2 weeks to prepare on Matt Zollers also. So it's I don't think the advantage is all that stark when it comes to Mizzou's situation.
I've asked for like 3 weeks in a row for Kirby Moore to be ready for the challenge, and I don't think he has been. This time, I don't care if the answer is simplify, then by all means simplify.
Well,
whatever.
There might be no other choice at that point. Yeah.
But what have we been saying all year? You're kind of doing too much. What did Eli Drinkwitz come out and say after the Auburn game? We've got to run the plays that work. All right. The spotlight's been on Kirby Moore a little bit, and it hasn't gone well recently. Here's the opportunity. It's a blank slate because it's a new quarterback. You got to figure out what's going to get the most out of the offense with the group that you have. But go down guns blazing. Like, confidently come up with the plan for this game and get them to buy in for 2 weeks to execute it. That's all you can do. But man, I'm begging at this point because I feel like it was another game where they just didn't really get the most out of that aspect of their team.
So what do you think, Mizzou fans? Matt Zollers, the guy, at least for now. Tell us what you think about his chances to lead this team into the final stretch of this season as they get set for A&M in 2 weeks. 573-875-KTGR. You can call or text us. You can also comment on our YouTube channel at KTGR Sports. Also on Facebook at facebook.com/KTGR Big Show. So that coaching carousel gets thicker now. How do we assess it all here in Columbia, Missouri? We'll get to that next, and our predictions on Chiefs Commanders at 5:45 here on The Big Show.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They are round for you, and if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. They want to also remind you that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and all this month they are bringing back their Brakes for Breasts campaign. What this means is that you can get a qualifying brake job at Lee's Tire Company all throughout this month, and you can either get $40 back or you can donate that $40 to breast cancer research. And on top of that, Lee's Tire Company will match that $40 donation. Just another way that Lee's Tire Company not only knows how to get you the right tires, how to work on everything else on your vehicle, but also help make a difference, especially during this month as we try to fight that nasty disease called cancer. So again, if you get a qualifying brake job at Lee's Tire Company at any of their 3 locations, 2 of them in Columbia, 1 in Centralia, you can either get $40 back or donate $40 to breast cancer research, all during the Brakes for Breast campaign at Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com.
Get ready for game day with Zing Zang. Zing Zang has you covered. Kick off with their ready-to-drink Bloody Marys featuring 6 times distilled vodka, or turn up the heat with their blazing Bloody Mary. Prefer margs? Enjoy classic or mango margarita, both made with premium Blanco tequila. With 9% alcohol, these cocktails deliver bartender quality cocktails with legendary taste. Find Zing Zang at your local retailer. Zing Zang, taste the legend, and please Zing Zang responsibly.
Winter's on the way, so now's the time to plan your tree pruning. Here's why. In winter, trees are dormant, which means they're less risk of disease. Plus, without all those leaves, it's way easier to see exactly what needs trimming. The educated, licensed, insured, and experienced crew at Advanced Tree Solutions knows how to protect your trees and your wallet. But spots are filling fast, so schedule your winter pruning today at AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com. Advanced Tree Solutions, LLC. Your tree's best friend.
Everyone has their go-to game day outfit. Maybe it's a comfy black and gold hoodie or that old hat you wear because it still hasn't been to a losing game. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you really want to stand out on game day, talk to the team at Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia. Rock your favorite team's colors with a beautifully designed, one-of-a-kind custom piece of jewelry from Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia, our hometown jeweler. MIZBETZ.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering, and with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field,
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
Tired of calling Andy and Brenden? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Well, tell us, Mizzou fans, your feelings now after a loss to Vanderbilt, an injury to the starting quarterback, and now an extra week to sit in it all before Mizzou takes on Texas A&M 2 Saturdays from now. Announced today as a 2:30 kickoff. That means on Saturday, November 8th, the England Tiger Game Day show will begin at 11:30. Let's get the thoughts of Alex on the KTGR hotline, who's been holding here. Alex, what you got?
Hi. Yeah, I'm just a long-time listener, first-time caller. I've been saying all year, I like Beau. I bet, he doesn't really push the ball down the field much, and maybe Matt will do a little bit more of that. He's supposed to be a top pocket passer this year, so hopefully, we can move the ball a little bit with him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope. Appreciate the call, Alex, here on the Big Show. I mean, with the way he looked, what's possible. It's just now you have to replicate it against a different defense with all the factors that then pour into it. You have to prepare to be the guy. It's going to be a lot different of a challenge.
And I will say this, it's a different defense. They've got dudes up front for sure. Vanderbilt's defense, according to, I like to look at adjusted efficiencies, FPI, it says 35th for Vanderbilt. A&M's actually ranked lower than that. Well, actually, no, they're not. I lied. They're 19th. So not that different, though, is what I was going to point out. It's like it could be, it could be a similar challenge. There will be differences to it for sure. But I would look at what he did against Vanderbilt, and if I'm Kirby Moore, I would say, all right, what's the most efficient way we can get to an offense that can keep A&M on its toes a little bit? We can push the ball downfield. Maybe that opens up the run game. Don't overthink it. You just got to go for it. You got to get the guys to buy into it as well. And that, it's going to be easier said than done because, like you had said earlier, Andy, they were bought in on what Beau Pribula brought to the table. But I also think the offense recognizes too that it's been a little bit one-dimensional in terms of needing everything to be just perfectly executed to go first down, second down, third down, convert. First down, second down, third down, convert. All the way down the field, it's difficult. Don't have the same fear that, whether founded or unfounded, that they clearly had in play calling when it was Pribula, because they're going to have to be able to push the ball down the field to keep up pace with an A&M offense that has been putting on points in a significant way.
So we'll see what happens there with that. But a lot to obviously dissect. We get 2 weeks now to convince ourselves that, Matt Zollers, he's Drew Lock. He'll be fine. Like, I'm sure Brenden will be there by November 7th. But
I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know where I'm going to be.
But
I hope.
That's the hope, at least for now. Okay, so Brian Kelly out at LSU. Not at all a surprise.
Nope.
If they had been competitive in that game, even, I think they still would have said, "Yeah, sorry, this is it."
That could be.
Got to do it. Because you can make people believe that it is possible if you win a game like that and you take advantage of your home crowd. But I think it's very clear. I don't think LSU's individual players are bad. They just stop playing for their coach. And once you do that, okay, move on. See if an interim can fire up the group, bring hope back into the fan base, and maybe get a win or two that you're maybe not expecting now down the stretch, and see what you got, and just look to the coaching carousel and start making your calls to agents and everything like that. But now, all of those Power 4 jobs opening, there are probably going to be more, because I think Auburn's going to open. I think Florida State's going to open. Several other, maybe even, I wasn't even thinking about this as a possibility, but maybe even South Carolina. It's very well could.
Andy, we're talking about good jobs, though.
Oh, okay. I got you. That's fair. But here's the thing. Those jobs could be filled by coaches that are sitting head coaches that maybe do have good jobs that maybe then open up, and then it adds to the, you see the ripple effect. Maybe.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe a job that isn't open yet, but they lose a coach, and then they have to call around, and then they call Eli Drinkwitz. That's the whole thing, right?
I don't know. It's certainly possible. If Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss, now Ole Miss is screw it. We're gonna
go get
we're
Drake.
gonna hire. Yeah. So I guess anything could happen. I do frankly worry about the jobs that we already know to be open, plus Auburn, because I don't know. It seems like it's a volume question. So many of these big jobs are open. If Drink's name is on every single list, he's probably bound to be coaching at one of those places next year. That's sort of, I don't know if my analysis is any better than that. And so maybe that makes you feel better and go, Brenden just doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm just looking at it as a numbers game and going, when these programs, the couple top two get their guys, and the third one's I missed out on my top two, they're going to get reckless, and it's going to become a situation where, it's going to be very difficult, I think, to turn down all of the suitors that Drink conceivably is going to have. Just being honest.
Well, and that's also kind of why, you say, hey, do it this week and have the extension done this week. Okay, but that does take both sides wanting to do it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I'm sure the administration wants to.
They do.
But right now, if you're Eli Drinkwitz, would you want to right now?
Nope.
No.
And I don't think it. Now, here's the thing. If vibes were different, if you had just beat Vanderbilt and whether Beau was hurt or not and things were, I could see a world in which it's you know what? This is where I want to be. We're getting it done here. I don't need to be anywhere else to achieve the goals I want to achieve for myself. But I think the outcome of that game is so deflating that it could be tempting now to look around and go, these other people do want me too.
But even if you want to stay, this is just the business side of it. You wait, you let them make their calls. And then you see what's at least out there. And then if you're wanting more money to stay at Mizzou, then
honestly,
you actually see what the number is that you could get elsewhere, and then you take it to Mizzou, and you're
okay, that would be what that would look like.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what Drinkwitz would be doing if they are bringing him behind the scenes a contract, and he's I'm okay. If that happens, that would be, and we won't know it, and so that's why it's anybody's speculative guess. But if administration is lining up an offer and bringing it to his agent this week and saying, hey, we hear the noise too. Obviously, you're king of the castle here. We want to get him to sign this. We want to lock this in and be able to focus on what's ahead. But what's ahead, it's very unlikely that college football playoff is ahead this year. And so if that's true, and then you think about how much more difficult the schedule's about to get, and you've got uncertainty at quarterback. You do, because your current quarterback's hurt. Your guy that you're ushering in now as a true freshman. Anybody can enter the portal after any season. So like it feels very kind of tenuous in my opinion. And so you're right. Like if you're Drink and your goal is to, just play this out and use it as leverage, you could certainly do that. But I think that it will be so overwhelming, the types of programs that'll be calling. Like I'm not sitting here and having the debate about Mizzou is what ranked job in the country. It just doesn't matter. I just feel like it's going to be, it's going to get overwhelming to an extent. And maybe I'm crazy for this. Do you have any more? We brought it up, but any more insight? I do think it's like very eerie that Drink is like the king of Twitter fingers and he's blocking replies on his tweet after this game.
I have no idea what to think about that.
That's,
like, it's just,
I think I'm not
it's
considering
not
that
he's
nothing.
Done before. No, I agree that it's not nothing because he's never done that before. And
he talks his bleep, but usually he's winning.
Yeah.
Usually he's winning when he talks his bleep. And guess what? They didn't win this time. And he's still tweeting after the game. I don't know, dude. I get it. There's obstacles. He said the obstacle becomes the path, whatever he said. I don't know what that means. And I'm not trying to read into the content of his tweet. I am saying that he doesn't even want the replies to be on there. I don't know. I'm probably reading into it too much. Sorry, Drink, but I want you to stay. So I'm starting to think more about, the ramifications of the carousel, that it's not even November and it's getting wild. It really is.
Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. Let's go to Marty here on the KTGR hotline. Marty, what you got?
Well, first of all, I'm really I'm sorry that Pribula got hurt. I don't ever want to see anybody get hurt on the football field, and especially someone who seems like a really good kid and a good leader and just an all-around, nice young man. So that's a shame that happened to him. I wish him nothing but the best. This might not be a popular take, but having said what I said, it's not like that, in my opinion, that Pribula has really elevated the team. He's been okay at best. I think that Zollers gives them something potentially that might be different and could ultimately be better than what we saw. You don't want to throw a true freshman out there at the Lions, but at some point this was going to be the case. I guess you would like for him to have more experience, but Pribula didn't really have a lot of experience either. So I guess what I'm saying is, in a roundabout way, is I don't know that Missouri's offense will be any more challenged than they were with Zollers at quarterback as opposed to Pribula, because it wasn't like we were putting a lot of points on the board and moving the ball up and down the field anyway.
Yeah, and appreciate the call, Marty, here on the Big Show. I think what I saw on Saturday was Mizzou not necessarily changing up, at least from what I could see, the game plan when it comes to the quarterback that was in there. I thought they operated it kind of the similar way, but Zollers seemed to have a little more crispness. The ball looked better. And again, it's not to say that he is for sure the better quarterback, but I think if we had to go based on talent level alone, based on what we've heard about both guys, like I would lean Zollers like at very peak, right? When it comes to that. I
hate this conversation because everything Marty said was right. Like he didn't say anything that I thought was wrong or offensive. And he paid exactly the homage to Beau that I want to do today, because I don't just want to gloss over and say, well, the other kid looked better for a quarter and a half. And so here we go. Like, because I first of all, I don't know that to be true. You mentioned the adrenaline factor.
Right.
Now you're the guy. Defenses are going to prep for you. How often do we see that backup quarterback syndrome where it can actually go that the next week it's a lot more of a challenge once there's like an understanding of how to game plan for you? But we did have conversations about the notion of like Drinkwitz bringing up having confidence in the plays we're running. I don't know that was as much about the quarterback position as it was like offensive linemen. How are we blocking? How are we aligned and things of that nature? But I will say there wasn't really any room for Matt Zollers to lack confidence. And so he just went out there and did it and looked confident, and it looked cohesive. what the offense did. And it was in a situation where he pretty much just had to be throwing the whole time too, right? Because
I guess, yeah. I mean,
you were trailing other than the drive when it was 10-10 where they they had a little bit of
they had to throw or in some spots, but also Ahmad Hardy got up to 20 carries in this game, and a lot of that was in the second half. So again, I don't think they changed up their sequencing all that much with how they should have done this based on the injury. So there will be a heavy dose of that, but you're right, in the obvious passing situations, Zollers actually held his own. Like they were 4 of 5 on 4th down in this game, and Zollers had to convert several of those.
He was really good.
Yeah,
he was really good. I just don't know. I got to see it translate against another opponent, probably a little better defense, when they know that you're the guy that they're prepping for. So like, I saw a lot of just like you're saying it in a very responsible way, Andy's like, maybe he's better. I looked at the two, kind of what we saw is I might lean Zollers a little bit. The confidence was there. I saw a lot of people say, well, this is probably good because Beau just wasn't going to elevate the offense. And now we get to the guy that can elevate the offense. I saw a lot of that, Andy. I saw a lot of kind of, Pribula wasn't really very good anyway. And like Marty said in a way that I think I can agree with. I don't know that Beau elevated the offense. He wasn't taking the offense to new heights necessarily. And certainly as the competition has ramped up, we've seen the offense really struggle to find itself. So I don't think that's like an errant take at all by Marty. But I don't know that we know for sure that Zollers is going to be a step up from like Beau Pribula. We at least kind of knew the floor and that he was going to keep him in these games, and he won the Auburn game late with throwing the football. I know he wasn't great the whole Auburn game, but they had to throw the football and go win that game, and he did that. I like what we saw from Zollers, but like, if Zollers regresses to, a guy who's played 4 drives in his life of meaningful college football, and we see that in the A&M game goes the other way, then we'll be going, oh, no, I mean, Zollers is no good too. Like, we're going to react to whatever's in front of us. We just have to be careful with.
I mean, again, Drew Lock's career started in a similar way, right?
Yeah.
Thrust into competition almost right away. Looked very
and he was
well
legit
in the very beginning, and then started to struggle. Like you're going to see this. Like it happens with most quarterbacks.
So
right?
I'm just trying to use that as the way to be like, we think we know what Matt Zollers is because we saw him for a quarter and a half in relief of Pribula, who got injured.
Right.
And they just had to like pare down the offense and run that version of it under duress, and it actually worked to their benefit. Let Kirby Moore take from that. The lesson to learn from that is, I was doing too much before. Let's hone in on what I can do to put our quarterback in the best position to succeed, and then let's grip it and rip it. Let's go play football, and let's pare this down a little bit, because actually when I was forced to do that, like you said, I don't think they changed up their sequencing of run versus pass, whatever, but I really feel like the flow and the downfield passing game was a little bit better than what we had been seeing. And so just take the lesson of, let's keep it simple, stupid, and let's go try to beat A&M with this quarterback. We can do that. And then find the confidence from somewhere.
Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. We've talked a lot of Mizzou, but we do need to get to some Chiefs because there's a game tonight. They play the Commanders. We'll get our predictions in next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Missouri dropped their second SEC game of the season. They lose 17-10 to the Commodores of Vanderbilt. Dropped 6-2 on the season, 2-2 in the SEC. The big news: Missouri quarterback Beau Pribula out with apparent ankle injury. CBS Sports is reporting there's an outside chance he returns at some point this year. Mizzou also saw their game time announced for their game against Texas A&M. That will take place a week from Saturday on November 8th. It'll be a 2:30 kickoff. Do that one right here on KTGR with the Yingling Tiger Game Day Show beginning at 11:30. Chiefs will play Week 8 tonight as they take on the Washington Commanders. Big news, as Commanders quarterback Jay Daniels will not play with a hamstring injury. Defensive tackle Deron Payne questionable for Washington. On the Chiefs side, Josh Simmons is out with a personal matter. Trey Smith with a back injury is doubtful for the Chiefs. St. Louis Blues underway in just about 10 minutes. They'll take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Up next, your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking cloudy skies and temperatures dropping into the upper 40s to around 50 overnight. Tomorrow's looking dreary. We'll see some showers moving back in by afternoon and becoming more widespread through Tuesday night. High temperatures in the mid to upper 50s tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll see some morning rain with gusty winds. Temperatures in the morning will be in the low to mid 40s with highs only around 52. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Hey, this is Jimmy with Pro Designs, and maybe you've heard, we're the vehicle wrap specialists, but branding your business doesn't stop there. At Pro Designs, we can wrap your walls, windows, even floors.
Go to ProDezIGNS.com.
Come see them at their locations in Eldon or Columbia off Rangeline Street and I-70.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Shangri-La is proud to be a part of every black and gold home game this season at the Zimmer Tiger Tailgate. Swing by our tent to play games, win prizes, and hang out with Missouri's top team of cannabis aficionados. Want to join the fun? Pick up your free Tiger Tailgate tickets at any Shangri-La location. Then come find us on game day. We'll be bringing the energy, the prizes, and the community spirit that makes Tiger football unforgettable. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
From telling bedtime stories and doing late night homework to driving them to college and sliding them a few $100 when they get there, parents will do just about anything for their children. At Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center, people come from miles around knowing that their staff of doctors, nurses, and therapists will do anything to help heal their wounds. Wait, don't amputate. Visit Boone.health to learn more.
Real healing starts here. Boone Hospital, Wound Healing Center.
Right there. That hole opens up, and he did not hesitate to hit it.
Seriously, you don't have to live like this. Just trying to watch football and laugh at obviously hilarious things the broadcasters say. Your favorite team plays outside. You should be watching them outside on a Crutch's deck.
Yeah, he got penetration there, but he just couldn't finish it.
Get a custom outdoor football watching oasis with Crutch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside. CrutchesCustomExteriors.com.
A cool cocktail, plus a downtown patio. Yes, please. In the current issue of Inside Columbia magazine, see where you can kick back with tasty servings from one of our town's newest establishments. Read about fall decor that will last the whole holiday season. And don't miss out on the next concert, carnival, play, or party with our community calendar section. It's all inside Columbia magazine. Get your copy today at break time convenience stores or have it delivered at InsideColumbia.net.
From Branson Landing to the Capitol Dome, Union Station to the Tigers' home. Big O Service is Missouri's best. Our trusted team outpaces the rest.
Get our healthy car special for only $39.95 from your Missouri-owned and operated Big O.
Show me safe coverage wherever you go. We've got you covered at Big O.
When my child was in grade school, I signed them up for Cub Scouts. I wanted them to make some friends and have fun. I had no idea the impact it would have. I did it. Today, they're a confident high schooler who helps without being asked and actually talks to me. Scouting gave them confidence, lifelong friendships, and values that stuck. Got a young grade schooler? Join Cub Scouts. It builds character and leadership.
Visit beascout.org to find scouting near you. Paid for by the Great Rivers Council.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
So, Mizzou fans, tell us what you think about this past weekend. 573-875-KTGR. Matt Zollers, it would appear that he is the guy going forward now. And definitely interested in asking the injury expert Will Carroll tomorrow about what he thinks about Beau Pribula's injury, because it's a very rare type of ankle dislocation where you dislocate the ankle but you don't break any bones. Apparently, is what his injury is, according to the reports out there. So,
which seems worse.
Yeah, I don't know which one's worse. Like which one would keep him out for more time, but we'll see. But tune in tomorrow. We'll ask the injury expert Will Carroll about that one. Tonight, Chiefs Commanders. Chiefs at a 12-point favorites. Maybe save me from having a really terrible week in picks of the week if they can cover that. I think 1-3, I think was what I did.
Still pending. Anything could happen.
Okay. I think the producers are going to win this week with 2-2-1. So
yikes.
Yeah, that's
brutal.
how it went. But score predictions for tonight. No Jaden Daniels for Washington.
Yeah, I feel not as confident as I did when the spread was double digits against the Raiders, and I was like, I don't really see the way they lose. But I still, I'm gonna probably wait till the game that the Chiefs have an almost oopsie before I predict an almost oopsie, especially in a game like this against a backup quarterback. Like Mariota will do some things. They do have their receivers back. I think Debo and McLaurin are both playing. But like the Chiefs have stopped the run, like stuffed the run. The Raiders as a team had 25 yards on the ground. I don't know that the Commanders are going to run it super well unless it's Mariota running around. I'll go Chiefs. I don't know. What's the over under?
I believe around 48. My prediction is over that. I'll say 34-20 Chiefs.
I'm going to go 48.5. Give me 30. Give me 30-16.
Okay. That's a lot of field goals. Both sides.
They can miss an extra point or go for two. Anything can happen.
Very good. That's
Billy's
true.
predicting a win to really? You think the Commanders win?
That was the score last time Mariota played in Kansas City.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. He had this.
Come
He posted
on.
this earlier. He said, hey, I just did some research. It appears the Titans had a receiver named Marcus Mariota who caught a touchdown pass against the Chiefs. Can't be the same guy.
No.
I want to give
Stop
Billy his
that.
props. That was funny. We just didn't get time to play into that as much. But no, I think the Chiefs defense is firing on all cylinders right now, and so is the offense. So if the letdown comes, we'll evaluate it tomorrow, but I'm not going to predict it in this one.
You can hear the game on 96.7 KCMQ tonight. Be sure to tune in for that. Tune in a few minutes. Coverage of the World Series begins from ESPN Radio. Max Scherzer, former Mizzou pitcher, makes history starting for his fourth different team in a World Series game as the Blue Jays visit the LA Dodgers. Series tied at 1. First pitch just after 7 o'clock. Tune in on KTGR for the coverage beginning in a few minutes, and we'll see you tomorrow at 4. He's Brenden. He's producer Billy. I'm Andy. We're done for now.